well, I should have done this better. I should have done that. And I go find other resources. I need help or anything like that. And, I literally would get God must be punishing you. You're not doing something right. You need to repent. You need to do this. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where it's like, I started believing everything that was told to me.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Solid. We're super excited to be here with you today. We have a special guest with us, Alex Cornwall. Jeff and I have known Alex for a long time. I think 2006, 2007 is when we initially got into business together in financial services. And Alex has been through the ups and downs of life. He's going to tell his story today. Very impactful. I encourage you to pay attention to it, take some notes, share this episode with your friends and family. I guarantee you this one will help you, and we really appreciate you tuning in. So here we go.
I told myself when I took the job as a broker that I would never rely on that income.
Yeah.
I would never rely on the income I get as a broker, as a manager.
Yeah.
I'd never, ever want to do that again in my life.
Yeah.
And so I had that realization back in 2019 that I was like, screw that.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where we're going.
Crazy times, dude.
We're having agents. They're dropping like flies. Agents are dropping like flies. And it's needed, though.
Yeah.
Man, our industry got so saturated.
Part of the cycle, right, I guess. You got to go through. I
think it's in every industry.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it's in.
Yeah, I mean, I just got done reading this book called The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know who Ray Dalio is?
I've heard of him. So I think you've brought that book up.
Probably
told me about it.
Yeah, so he wrote another great book called Principles, but Principles is more like life principles, investing principles. Really good book, but The Changing World Order is more like what happens in market cycles from a macroeconomic world cycle. Yeah. So he looks at dynasties, kingdoms as far back as like 1600 BC.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how he runs his business. And he has all these metrics, and he'll take and look at what happens. Why did a country rise and why did they fall? What happened to the wealth at this time in the world? Who held the global reserve? Like right now we do, right?
Yeah.
So he looks at all that stuff and then predicts what's going to happen. And it's crazy to see when you look at that, it's almost as predictable as what happens after winter. Spring. What happens after spring? Summer, right? Mm-hmm. What happens after summer? It's fall. And so you look at it and go, it's very predictable. It's just the hard part about it is what is the change going to be, right? So not when is it going to happen, but what is it going to be that's going to cause that thing to happen? It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I think in any industry, in real estate, I don't see another crash happening though, like before, dude.
I don't either. I mean, you can listen to the media, you can listen to what's going on out there. I mean, there's been talk about, we're going to see a 40% drop in price, all that kind of crap. To be honest with you, I don't read it, I don't look at it, I don't listen to it.
Let me tell you why I don't think that is going to happen. And tell me if you think I'm wrong. But I think a couple of things that will stop that from happening. Number one is for the last, 5 years, people have been buying homes getting a 3.5% interest rate or less, right? They've got a ton of equity. So the only way they can access that equity is through a very high interest rate, right? Which probably discourages most people from doing. And then right now, a lot of people aren't selling because they realize that, they're not selling as aggressive as they were 3 months ago because they realize if they go buy a new home, the home that they get for that same payment isn't going to be what it is. So they're more likely to stay, which obviously lowers the inventory. So I don't see people giving up their homes like in 08, 09, people would mail in their keys, right? Like, you can have it back. It's right.
They had no equity.
They didn't.
They were so over leveraged. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't see that. Plus, in 08, 09, they were doing ninja loans, right? If you could fog a mirror, they'd give you a loan.
Exactly.
At the last 5 or 10 years, it hasn't been that way, right? It's still been tough to get a mortgage regardless.
Yes, and I agree with you there. Like the only thing that I see with our current market, because I look where I work, is we have no commerce.
Yeah.
Our commerce is the real estate industry. I mean, look at how many contractors and tourism, but even tourism's not as high as people think.
Right.
It's construction.
Yeah.
It's self-employed.
Yeah.
So when there's a slow, what happens to those homes, that inventory everybody's sitting on?
Yeah.
So I do see us getting something is going to happen, but I agree with you. It's not going to be a crash or a fall. I think there needed to be a settling. Mm-hmm. It needed to happen. Mm-hmm. It needed to thin the whole industry.
Yep.
And it's going to pick back up. And I guarantee it's a political move too. I mean, rates just spiked to 7.5%. We haven't seen that for how long?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never seen it in my 20 years doing real estate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I first got in, it was like 6% back in 2003.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, historically though, 7% really isn't that high.
Yeah, no.
Correct. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Right. So many people are like, holy crap, look at this. Cause they're expecting a 2% or 2.5%.
Yeah. Cause a lot of people you're asking are in their 30s or 40s right now.
That's all
and they started buying real estate after 08. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think it's going to hit. It's needed. I think it's a political play when it all comes down to it, that you're going to see interest rates come back down. It's the election year next year. It's going to be there. Say, oh, I just lowered interest rates. Put me back in office. That's what I see happening. Then again, that's the Epistle of Alex. I have a lot of those. It's getting to be a pretty big book. So,
yeah,
that's funny.
Half of them are right.
Yeah, right.
Half of them are wrong.
I mean, how do you really know for sure? Nobody does, right? You can speculate and based on what you think. And
well, it's like I was saying a minute ago, all you got to do to be successful is make more right choices than you make wrong choices. So if you're right 51% of the time, you're going to be ahead. You can
or if your right choices are just a lot bigger than your wrong choices.
True. True. Good point.
I mean, what I've been telling agents that I've been coaching and just people in the industry, just control what you can control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stop trying to control outside forces that are out of your control.
Right.
Can you control interest rates?
No.
Can you control the market? No. So when people say, oh, it's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market, it's a shifting market, I don't give a crap what kind of market.
Yeah.
What's your market?
Yeah.
What are you going to go create?
Yeah, because the fact is, in any market, there's still homes moving, right?
Exactly. There's still houses selling. There was 186 homes sold this month.
Yeah.
Are you one of those that got in front of one of those transactions or not? If not, work your ass off harder.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yep.
Right.
So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, study what's working. Copy that.
Exactly.
Right? Don't you can either focus on what's not working and stress out about that.
Well, I just think in business in general, we overcomplicate it. It's not that hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's my realization. It took me 39 years to figure that out. Mm-hmm. But I'm just too stupid and
the business is not that complicated. No. I think what happens is as we're younger, we have more insecurities because we have less knowledge. We're trying to prove ourselves, all this kind of stuff. And then as we get older, we realize like, oh, if we just do what we say we're going to do and we build good relationships, life's a lot easier.
Yeah. Stop looking at people as a transaction and start serving them. Mm-hmm. And all pressure goes away.
Yeah.
And you're actually going to come out ahead.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. They're not walking transactions in any market.
Right.
Go serve them.
Yeah.
Serve people.
Yeah.
Well, and I think when you help others want to help you. And that's where that natural cycle happens. And if you do it the right way without a manipulative behavior, like, hey, I'll help you if you'll help me rather than I'll just help you just because. And that's naturally who you are. People want to help you. And
exactly.
Yeah, that's why successful people are most likely servants, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about being taken care of. You will be taken care of.
Yeah.
It naturally happens that way.
Yep.
Yeah. That's thinking about too, just the economy. People, is it a good economy or bad economy? What's your economy?
It's the economy.
It really doesn't matter what the outside economy is or isn't doing, because no matter what, it can be a great economy if you're doing the right things and make it a great economy, or it could be a bad economy based on. So there's a shift right now happening in real estate or the stock market or with rising inflation. Okay, well, where are you pivoting? How are you going to take advantage of that opportunity?
Exactly.
You know what I'm so grateful for, dude, is that we really built our income in 07, 08, 09, and 2010. Mm-hmm. And I was just telling our guys, throw away your televisions, right? And we didn't pay attention during that. And we became financially independent during those years when most people were losing their houses. They were freaking out. And it was just because I knew what we were focused on. I didn't care what was happening in the world. I just knew what was happening right here and what we could control, like you said. Yeah. Right. And I'm so grateful for learning that. And now being at this age, now I look at recessions or times like this as opportunities and not like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
And I think that's a good point you bring up. It's all about who you surround yourself with too. in those times. Like, you can be around those people. Like I said, you can watch the news. You can be around those people that are those naysayers and all that kind of stuff. It's all about who your proximity is power.
Yeah.
Who you surround yourself with is so it's crazy.
I'm a huge believer, and it's not necessarily what you know. What you know is great, and you should always be expanding it. It's who you know, and having a good relationship with those people. I mean, we've just recently put together some business deals that would have never happened had we not had relationships, and it was strictly relationships. Just God bless us to be in the right. I mean, we put ourselves out there. We built businesses. We networked. We've met a lot of great people, and through those people, we were able to line up a deal that was like unheard of. It's just crazy how
because of 15, 20 year plus relationships that couldn't be, they weren't happenstance. It were real relationships over 15, 20 years and came together at the perfect time, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I think a lot of people out there might be struggling going, man, how do I get my life on track, or what do I got to do? Well, who can you go, like you were saying, Alex, who can I go serve and help out today? And it might be in something, I mean, whatever they need. What do they need, and how can you help them with that?
Yeah.
And just start finding ways to do that on a daily or weekly basis, even if they're small little things.
Yep.
And things come from that. I mean, blessings come from them. You've had some killer things, helping a guy with a pool in your neighborhood, right?
Yep.
And then he turns around and
gives
you a huge opportunity with some development opportunities and land development opportunities.
Actually getting ready to go on he's called me a couple of days ago and goes, hey man, I want to go on a trip. We're going to go fly out to South Carolina and go hang out for a minute too. So been able to build a friendship with him, which is awesome as well,
Yeah. Well, good.
Someone who's mega successful, and then you learn from those people.
Yeah.
But I think, what you just said, and during these crazy times, I think that's Alex, really, I think a lot of the reason why I wanted you on is, man, we've been fortunate enough to be friends for a lot of years. I know. And I've seen you go through multiple peaks and valleys throughout your life.
Yeah.
And you're at a peak right now, which is cool.
It is.
And it's exciting.
It's been fun.
But a lot of people have had maybe one peak, and usually that's early on in life, right? It reminds me of the Napoleon Dynamite dude who's always, filming himself playing football from high school. He's still living those glory days, right? Yep. That was the peak, and then the rest of their life is kind of in this valley. I know you've had peaks, you've had valleys, you rose again, you fell again, you rose again. And that's why I wanted you on, man, because you have a special character trait, and that is the ability to overcome and win regardless. And I think it'll be good to hear from you, man, because, I think as Brandon said, a lot of people today, I know in the world today, are just feeling these uncertain times. What do I do? How do I win? What are some steps that I can go take to change my life? And I think you've been a good example of that, dude.
I appreciate it. It's been a journey for sure, and it's a journey that's not over, which I'm excited about. That's one thing I love about it. Oh yeah, I mean, every day I wake up, it's a new day.
Yeah.
So
when did we all kind of get to come together? 2006, 5,
6 or 7.
Had it been 6? Because we moved to Idaho in 2007.
Yeah,
so
2006.
Yeah. And then we haven't seen each other for quite a few years.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So it's good to see you again, man.
I know. It's really good to see you. You're looking good. You're looking fit.
Yeah, you too.
I like your shirt.
You too. Thank you.
It looks like you got the memo.
I get extra medium.
Extra medium. Yeah. So I get extra large, and I still make it look small.
Still looks medium.
Medium.
There's tricks, you gotta wear the right.
Yeah. I did some push-ups in the back, so
there you go.
Okay.
Look like you're pumped up. So tell us about your life right now. Where are you at? What's going on? Family, business. Give us an update on your life, who you are, where you come from.
You know what? I to sum all that up, I'm just grateful. Honestly, that's the answer I have for you right there. I mean, I've got a beautiful, beautiful family. My wife, I since got remarried, since I've seen you guys last, went through a divorce and everything like that. We can get through my whole story if you'd like to, but, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning alive next to a beautiful woman that I love, that I have an opportunity just to be out and serve and inspire and just try to help. I mean, that's the ultimate goal of my life right now is, I got back in the real estate realm. I never really left, to be honest with you, but I started figuring it out in 2020. It took me that long. And it's just been up from there and through relationships and everything, manage a brokerage here in town that it's great. It's challenging. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I feel like I'm herding cats and I hate it. Sometimes I love it because I'm able to help people grow, been able to do some investments on the side that have blessed my life and, made me got my assets going and stuff, which has been great.
Yep.
Now I'm just working on other things.
Cool.
Coaching.
So you say 2020 things really started to turn around for you. And so how old were you in 2020?
39.
39. And you were in 2006 when we met. How old were you? You would have been, what's the math?
I can't do math. I sell real estate, man.
You were like 27, 26.
15 years ago. Yeah. So how old are you right now?
I'm 41.
Okay.
So 26.
Yeah, I mean, back when we first met, I was young, stupid, naive, chasing money, chasing everything, just thinking I was the shit. I mean, pardon my French. I hope that's okay, but you get going when you're young, and it was all about just making that dollar. You did really well in real estate when I started out, when I first met you guys.
Yep.
For me, that was the whole goal of my life. Like, I wanted to do as best as I could, thinking that was going to help me become the person I needed to be. Like, work my butt off, have all the possessions.
Where did that programming come from? Did that come from parents? Did that come from people you grew up around?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to give a better life to your family than you got.
Right.
I mean, I think that's instilled in us.
Yeah.
I mean, I always wanted to do more for my kids. I always wanted to do more, earn more, go places I never went. So it was always there. And so I just had a desire to do it. Did it, got involved in the company with you guys. And at that time, I was very quiet what was happening personally through my personal business and everything. But at the same time that you guys were, we were building that, I was losing everything. Everything.
I remember.
In real estate.
Yeah.
Business, moving, like I started moving everywhere. And with all of that, I lost basically my mental state.
You were stressed out. It was a trauma situation.
Yeah, it was bad.
You loved your family. You were trying to provide for them. You wanted to do everything you could for them.
Yep.
You had two young kids at the time, right?
Yep. 2 young kids at the time, and literally going through hell. And at least a perceived hell, because I attached myself to the possessions. I attached myself to external items, external identity, external everything.
We were just talking about this recently, actually. I think some people, we have to ask ourselves, because recently Brandon and I sold a business, and it was very hard for my wife. I know Brandon can relate to my wife's perspective. And it's funny because I think Lexi and I kind of had a lot of similarities into how we responded to it. It was very hard, but I think for me, my identity was never in my career. Yeah. Right? Who I am isn't what I do.
See, and
right?
Most people don't find that. And I even struggle with it to this day. I mean, I had an incident just this last week where I broke down, realizing that I lost my identity. It's something that I struggle with. Yeah. I struggle hard with it.
I think a lot of people do.
They do.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll ever know the cause, but I think it's important for people to talk about, right? Yeah. Like, hey, when it's tough, like, hey, if my identity was in this and you lose that thing, it's very hard to have mental stability.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's hard to get going and have the confidence in yourself because you're not attached to yourself and you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And that was my problem, is like I had every desire to go out and build a business with you guys. I had every desire. I wanted to do it. I showed up. I was engaged at the moment, but when I was away, I was suffering internally because I attached myself to everything else. And it got to the point where I started shooting on myself. Well, I should have done this better. I should have done that. And I go find other resources. I need help or anything like that. And, I literally would get God must be punishing you. You're not doing something right. You need to repent. You need to do this. And it got to the point where it's like I started believing everything that was told to me.
Yeah, God is not an evil little kid with a magnifying glass.
I know.
I don't know why people think that.
I know. You're not paying.
I think it's a misunderstanding. Yeah. I just think it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's like you would never. I think from that perspective, I think we need to confront this because God loves us, right? And if you love your children, and you think about your kids, you're never gonna intentionally put your children through pain because they did something wrong, like hurt,
Yeah.
And that's not what God's trying to do. You know,
I
sometimes
agree.
God will let you go through things so you can learn a lesson. Just like sometimes when our kids fall down, we let them pick themselves up.
Yep.
Right? So
There's no question. We can hurt ourselves.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
And God will let us hurt ourselves
Yes.
to allow us to learn. I believe that.
Right.
I agree
Absolutely.
too.
Right? But it's not because we're necessarily sinning now we might be doing something bad that we are doing bad that is going to harm
the
us. and it
bad
does harm
choice
us.
is
but that's because it was our choice. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's important to decipher that.
Yes, because I don't want people to think, because I know there are people watching this that just they feel like, I know I was with you a lot at that moment.
You were.
And I feel like so many people feel like, man, God, why are you putting me through this?
Yep.
Right? God might be allowing you to go through it, but he's not putting you through
No.
it. You're putting you through it.
In fact, he's saying, come out of it right now. I'll take
Yes.
you right now
Yes.
if you will just let me help you, right? And so,
And I think it's that faith at that moment to say, okay, I'm ready to change, right?
Exactly. And it's that faith that when you lose it, when you start looking you get this tunnel vision. When I was going through that time in my life, I had tunnel vision where I had a family. I wasn't providing. I felt like a failure. I was depressed. I didn't know what to do. And instead of asking for help, I started to blame all the external items in my life. I started to blame, this and this. It's because of this. It's because of this. It's because of that. And it got to the point where I just wouldn't try. I just stopped doing.
do you think you didn't want to ask for help because you didn't want to burden anybody? Do you think that was a part of it?
No,
Or why
I did. I did ask for help, but I
Okay.
was asking the wrong people.
Okay.
Explain that. What do you mean?
Well, because I would keep on going back to the same people that telling me that God was mad at me.
Okay.
I always went back to that. I didn't look out for outside
You're not living
resources.
right. You're not doing it right. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was in denial. That was another thing too, is I was in denial. Like, Alex, what are you doing? You're fine. Go do it. I wouldn't accept for myself and actually accept that, no, you have depression. You need to go get help. You have anxiety. You're not safe.
Right.
And it got to the point where, you guys saw I was moving everywhere. Moved up to Salt Lake, got a job up there. And there would be weeks on end that I wouldn't even get out of bed.
Dang. So what changed? What was it? You went from being in that place and then something changed. What changed?
There's a couple things. So I truly believe everybody has crossroads in their life.
Yep.
I call them crossroads. That you have a split decision where you either going to go one way or the other, and that's going to define the rest of your life. And for me, I've got 3 major crossroads in my life that really defined me. I struggled all the way up till 2016, 17. 2016 was one of those crossroads for me. And that was the time that I did try to commit suicide. And I was done. I've shared this on other podcasts and stuff. And I think it's important that to share your stories, because hopefully it does impact people.
Right.
I mean, I kissed my kids goodbye one day. It was in April. I know, because my boy was playing baseball. We had moved back here. It was early. It was like 6 a.m. Kissed my wife at that time. And we're just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm done. I'm done with this. Was driving out to, I stopped by my parents, said bye to them. Like, I was determined. I knew what's so clear is the clarity that I had that day, because I made a decision. It was the first time in my life in a long time that I actually made a decision. And when I was out there, I got a call. It was, my wife's phone number. For some reason, I answered the phone, and it was my son, Tate. You guys know Tate.
Wow, yeah.
And he just asked me, he's like, Dad, when are you going to be home? I really want to practice pitching. I really want to practice my baseball. And that call saved my life.
Wow.
I had no purpose then for me. I didn't believe in myself, but I realized right then that it's not about me. He has purpose for me. Although I felt like I was a deadbeat, wasn't doing anything. He needed to play baseball.
Dad's still his hero.
So I played baseball.
Awesome.
That was a crossroad. For me, that was a realization that I was sick. It took me 10 years to actually accept it. I sought help. through all that help and everything, religion actually was a big part of because of all the crap, and I did not have a relationship with God at that time. I was even questioning his existence then. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? It's not. And me and my previous wife, we got a divorce in 2017, which again, when that happens, you feel like a failure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're so in the moment, caught up in the moment. You're like, dude, you failed again.
Yeah.
You failed again. And after that is when, you get, like you said, peaks and valleys, and valleys. That was a valley for me, got addicted to Xanax, got addicted to, alcohol, I was drinking a lot, and that's when I actually met my now current wife, Keisha, and she saw something in me at the lowest of the low that I still to this day question, like, what in the hell were you thinking?
Yeah. How did you meet her?
Through our local gym.
Okay.
So back in 2012.
I think real quick, that's a good point I want to mention. Sometimes when people are wanting to change their lives and they're, where you put yourself, the environment you put yourself is going to have a big impact on if you heal and how you heal.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were going to the gym.
Yeah. So that was actually one of the biggest things in my life back in 2012. I had nothing going on in my life. We had moved back to St. George and, started dabbling in insurance again and everything and not real estate. And I was big. Like, I'm a big boy right now, but I was 290 pounds. Mm-hmm. I was out of shape. Mm-hmm. I was playing with my kids in the backyard. I was like, dude, I can't even pick them up. What the hell am I doing? And so went to the CrossFit gym. I went to the gym regularly and didn't see any results. And someone said, just come to CrossFit, try it out. Tried it out. Hated it. I freaking hated it. I went there and I was like, so I did the first workout. It was
CrossFit does suck. Let's just admit it.
Yeah, dude. I love it. Dude, my favorite memes on IG are the dudes that are making fun of CrossFitters.
Oh my hell.
Dude, have you seen, hold on. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
I don't know.
They're so funny.
They'll like do, they'll like get the barbells and they'll go how to do like curls like a CrossFitter, and they'll like do curls.
Or the pull-ups, like they'll jump.
Yeah.
Kipping pull-ups.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a morbid sport. I mean, we go kick our butts at this gym, and then we're like, man, that sucked. See you here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, come on. But it was funny. The only thing like I remember when I first went, it was like some dumb, stupid workout back in 2012. Like, it was like box jumps, kettlebell swings, and burpees or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like 15 of each, like 4 rounds, like something like we wouldn't even think about right now. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even finish one round. Mm-hmm. And it pissed me off. I went home and was like, I'm never doing that shit again. I'm not going. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And it got to me. I was like, no, I'm going to do it again. So I went back. I said, I want to do the same workout. But we have another workout. I don't care. I want to do the same workout. Do the same workout. Only 2 rounds in. It's like, damn it. It beat me again.
Better than before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just dug at me. And I went back and I said, put me in the corner. I'm going to finish this stupid workout. I ended up going, I finished it. All 3 rounds. Kicked my butt. I couldn't walk for a week. And for some reason, I was like, I had that sense of accomplishment. It's the first time in my life in a long time that I actually accomplished something. And I was like, I can do something.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I can do something. And that was like, I found a sanctuary for me going through the depression, going through the anxiety, where I could go and people believed in me and I believed in them. I became a CrossFit coach because I knew it would commit me more. Mm-hmm. And so I got certified, everything taught.
Wow.
And
then that's where you met your wife.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we met her there and yeah, she saw something in me though that I just, to this day, I look back, I was like, man, what did you see? And that's when I truly felt like, you got this.
Yeah.
You've got this. You can figure this out. Mm-hmm. And I had I started dabbling back into real estate, everything. After the divorce, I was so shot. Like, started selling boats because I just needed something to do. I needed some type of accomplishment and everything. So I did that, and I wasn't really doing anything, living with, just here and there, everywhere. And I was 38 years old. I was like, this wasn't too long ago, guys.
Yeah.
Like 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 19 hit, and I got this opportunity to be a broker at 2012. I got my broker's license. I don't know why I did it. I just did it. I was like, whatever, let's do it.
I think I want to mention too, though, if I'm not mistaken, that broker position came because of a great relationship you'd had for many years prior. Is that right?
From relationships I built. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It came to me through the relationships connections. And that's one thing to note too. I had always kept my real estate active and all the dues and everything paid that whole time.
Yeah.
I always had a plan B in my life. I always had that to fall back on. But I was still always searching for that. Okay, I'm going to work really hard so I can have, and I'll do and that will help me be anything I need to be. Yeah. I wanted, I was thinking, okay, got to put in the work. It doesn't matter what your state is, what your mindset is, whatever. You just got to do the work, and you're going to get all that stuff back, and that will help you become.
Yeah.
I was still living my life like that up to that point.
Right.
It's a hamster wheel.
It is.
Never ends.
It never ends.
Yeah.
And I got a job as a broker for a company here, and man, that was interesting. It was fun. I found passion. I found like we started with 3 agents.
Yeah.
And in a year, less than a year, and with the help of the owners, of course, got that thing to 40 agents. We recruited 40 people in less than a year. Cool. I found a passion again for recruiting, for helping people just succeed, for coaching. It's like, man, I do know this business.
Yeah.
It gave me the confidence back that I actually do know how to sell real estate.
Yeah.
I do know how to sell. I do know what it takes to build great relationships and to help people achieve their goals. And I was like, I can do this. It gave me a sense of worth.
Yeah.
As you're telling me this, Alex, I'm looking back on, back when we got in business together, 2007, whenever that was. And I think this happens fairly often where you're a leader. You're an alpha male leader. You just are. So am I. So is Jeff. And I think sometimes when we get in the same business together, maybe one's got a head start, like in that situation, I had a head start. I'd been in business for 5 or 6 years. We have a lot of success. And you're coming as another alpha male trying to, I don't know if fit in's the right word, but you I think, tell me if this might be wrong. I'm just listening to you thinking this might be part of the reason why it didn't click back then is you needed to be in that role. Now you got to go earn that role. You got to go get that role. But when you found that role in real estate and you started to become that, that's where you're able to start thriving. Yeah.
Well,
what do you think?
Yes and no. I do agree with that to an extent. No, because I truly believe that you can have the best business model put literally in your lap where you'd have to be dumb to not succeed. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the mindset and the confidence, you're not going to succeed.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have the mindset and the confidence. Mm-hmm. I had such a scarcity mentality back then that I was losing everything.
Yeah.
So gotcha. I was survival mode.
Yeah.
Survival mode, you can't. This time, I realized really quick that I needed to start working on me. And the one thing that I just grasped was gratitude. Mm-hmm. Was, Alex, you woke up another day. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's been a motto that I've had. And I always remembered, Alex, you're still alive.
Yeah.
2016, you're still here. Mm-hmm. Keep going. And I just instilled in myself that gratitude moment of, yeah, you have nothing, but you have everything. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's what kept me going. And I started a gratitude journal every single morning. That's one thing that I do to this day. Gratitude journal. I write my gratitudes. I write my intentions. You
just list them? Just go down do you have a number you list every day?
No, I just start writing.
Okay. There's a great book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. It's the lady who wrote The Secret. She's a phenomenal book called The Magic about being grateful.
Yeah, he reads any book that's been written. He's read it.
I want to be like you. I get the squirrel effect where I start reading a squirrel. And so it takes me like a year to read a book.
Yeah.
Dude, I just read.
I love it.
I love to read.
I love it. No, I'm going to look that one up because gratitude is, so I get asked all the time, what changed? Like you just said, what changed? Gratitude.
Yeah.
But I think gratitude is misspoke. It's more than just having gratitude. It's practicing the law of gratitude. Mm-hmm. It is a law.
Right.
You got to practice it. You got to think it. You got to feel it. And you got to take action upon it. And most people, they think it. I'm thankful. I'm so thankful. They feel gratitude, but they don't take action upon it. And I think that's what's missed the most, and something that I strive every single day to do. I strove back then, like, Alex, be grateful for this opportunity. But the thing is, I still wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
Back in 2019, wasn't making any money. I knew it was a startup. They were paying me a little bit here and there. Didn't sell. They didn't want me selling. I was strictly recruiting. All bonuses and everything were supposed to kick in by the time I got 40 agents. Well, I got 40 agents. I got hired on February of 2019. February of 2020, I hit my 40 agents. Pretty much.
1 year later.
Yep.
1 year later. 40 agents in 1 month, or in 1 year. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun.
Yeah.
March, they brought me in. March 7th. I don't remember dates too well, but I do remember that one. March 7th, they brought me in and they let me go.
Really?
Dang.
Yeah. After you built 40 agents.
Well, and to their credit, I'm not going to take full non-responsibility. I started butting heads quite a bit with the ownership. Mm-hmm. Like, again, alpha male leader. Mm-hmm. I wasn't making any money. I got sick of it. Yeah. I was like, I am putting in the work. I need to either start selling or I need to do something. I need to provide.
Yeah.
So that sense of like, dude, you got this. Let's go. Started coming back. And they let me go again. Crossroad. That was my third crossroad. Like, okay, it's March 2020. I didn't know. It was like 2 weeks prior to the COVID really coming out. There was rumors of it. Mm-hmm. No job, living with my girlfriend. Not 60 grand in debt. 39 years old. Now what the hell am I going to do?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember calling my wife at the time, and you know how you listen to your wife and you hear something totally different what they actually say?
Yep.
Yeah. I heard, shit or get off the pot. You need to get stuff going. I'm sick of this. Real estate's not for you. She didn't say it like that. She was more like, babe, I love you. I'm supporting you, whatever you do, but maybe you need to go look elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So I had that thought. I was like, man, maybe I need to start looking elsewhere. Costco looks pretty damn good right now.
Oh,
I was about ready to settle. Like,
how many people make those decisions in life?
All the time.
Right. That right there. It puts a pit in my stomach because I think I've been there before. Obviously, you just said it. I don't know if you ever been there before. You don't. It doesn't seem like you have that personality.
I don't think I have. I mean, I haven't. Fortunately, and not to say I couldn't end up there one day.
Yeah,
so
for sure. But you haven't. That's fine.
I'm not above that. Yeah.
But I have before, and it just. It's crazy to think that at a moment's notice, sometimes we'll make decisions while we're so emotional that affect our long-term life, and they make no sense at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. But still, for some reason, it just feels like it's the right thing, even though we know it's not.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, so many people actually make that decision rather than giving us some time to cool off, thinking about what do you really want, and is the decision I'm making right now getting me closer to my long-term goals? And so often it's just, we make this decision getting us closer to this emotional target that we're trying to hit called easy. Right?
Well, it's conforming and just settling to the comfortable way of life. I mean, how many, do you really want to get uncomfortable in your life?
Don't want to.
You don't want to, but that's where growth happens.
Yep.
I would argue to say at some point you do. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think today I seek uncomfortable situations.
Because you've searched it and you researched it and you see the results from it. Most people don't see that result from it.
Yeah, we were
because
talking about...
they're never going to do it.
Yeah, you've conditioned yourself that way.
Yeah, information bias, right? Yeah, I look for reasons
If you're not uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that's my point, is thinking that a lot of people they're not comfortable working at Costco either. They're miserable. But you start talking to them about making more money or an opportunity or do something, they go, whoa, no. But yet they're miserable, complain about their job every day.
That means I can't watch Sunday Night Football. I mean, I can't do that, or Monday Night Football. That's my jam. Like, okay, you're not willing to get uncomfortable. You're not willing to do the little stuff.
Yeah, I think the important thing for me when those decisions, I look at we'll just use Costco. It's not fair to pick on Costco, but we will. But it's Costco. It's like if you work at Costco for your entire life, it's like, what is the major reward? Like, when do you actually feel like proud of your life?
Well, and I would.
No. Hear me out. But if you go say, okay, I've got some goals, and not saying that there's nobody should work at Costco, because some people have a dream and a goal to move up a corporate ladder or whatever it may be. That's fine, but they have some
they're
goals.
happy and they love it, and
that is their cheer. But for people like us that are listening to this podcast right now, when you're going to make a decision, you need to think about when you make this decision to make a choice. After you make that choice, at what moment is there going to be that thing that you're going to look back on that choice and go, man, I'm so proud of myself because of this choice. I got closer to my goals and dreams in my life. If that moment doesn't exist, which for me would have been like taking a job at Costco, or you taking a job at Costco, right? Can you imagine still working at Discover Car, dude?
Oh, man.
Doesn't it make you sick?
I mean, really think about that, is success is determined by everybody has a different definition of success, first and foremost. Second, how many people working those jobs actually have dreams and goals?
Most. I would say most have goals and dreams.
I would hope so. Mm-hmm. I would hope so. But in all reality, why don't they go get them? Because
they're scared to death and they don't really know how. Just like at one point in your life, you needed someone, which now is your wife, to believe in you, to say, I see that you're broken. I see you're not perfect, but you can freaking do this.
Yep.
Like, you can do this. Let's go. You need someone to believe in you. This is why in businesses, right, I think you see like Sergey Brin and Larry Page, the founders of Google, right? They're partners. You see Peter Thiel and Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg had Facebook before he met Peter Thiel.
Yep.
Right? So at some point, for me, right, I didn't believe in myself. Brandon believed in me, right? Say, you could do this. There is some point in somebody's life, you need somebody to say, man, you can do it. And I think that's why it's important for guys like us who have seen some success in our life to always remember to just encourage the next person. Just believe in them. Just serve a little bit more, because at some point I know someone did it for me, someone did it for you, someone did it for you.
And I think it comes down to accepting that belief. Like, you can believe in me all you want, but if I don't accept that belief and actually see it,
right?
That's why they get stuck at Costco or Discover Car.
Well, you think about this because you brought up a good point, made me think. Good question. I don't know. Does everybody have goals and dreams? And I believe they do, because I don't think you could take a single person on the planet that if you said, hey, if you could have your own private jet, nice home, not have to worry about money, be able to have the freedom to do what you wanted to do, which could be anything. You can bless other people's lives and do just your perfect life, and you could have it. I mean, is that something you want? I don't think any person will go, nah, I don't want any of that stuff, right? I think everybody does want it, but then it comes down to, I don't have any idea how to do it. I don't believe I could do it. Yep. So if you could give them a pathway and say, listen, do you really want all those things? And if you do, here's a pathway to get it. Now, they might go, I'm not willing to pay that price. I'm not willing to get that uncomfortable to get it. So maybe I'll negotiate. Maybe I'll just kind of settle for wherever, somewhere in the middle, right?
Yep.
I think that's life.
And
I do too.
It's the belief level and your perception of the price to pay to achieve the goal. If those things align, you're going to achieve it. If not, at some point, there's going to be a negotiation of price.
And I think that's a constant battle.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's always moving. It's a moving target. You are going to, I find myself complacent right now. Have I reached the goals that I want? No. Right. Am I on track? For the most part, yeah. I'm almost there. I'm getting there. Yep. Give me 5 years. Yep. I'm going to definitely be there.
Yep.
But it's a constant battle for me. Like, I do feel myself like, I mean, I had that realization last week where I literally broke down and just started bawling my head off. Like, what in the hell am I doing in my life? Mm-hmm. I lost my identity. I lost who I was. I was trying to, and I think those checks and balances are needed in your life to keep you moving forward. I think with people that like work the 9 to 5, or they're not challenged. They don't have people in their life actually challenging their goals and dreams. Mm-hmm. They don't have people actually asking the questions, well, if time and money were no issue, what would you do?
Right. Yeah.
Because I remember as a little child, what do you want to do?
All kind of stuff.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, never revolving around how much money it paid.
Yeah, because money's a byproduct.
Yep.
Money's a byproduct of who you become and who you are. It has nothing to do, I don't give a
Say that again.
Money is a byproduct of who you are and who you become.
Yep.
You want to earn more money? Become a better human being.
Yep.